President Trump defending his tariff reversal as his administration says it is now eager to negotiate with trade partners. And a local news outlet has gained more than 10,000 subscribers in a single year. We're going to hear from the founder about his mission to share community stories.
Covering news where you live. 5 News starts with breaking news.
All right, first at 4, we are following breaking news. The Arkansas Department of Health confirming now the first case of the measles in the state since 2018. Thanks for joining us. I'm Darren Bobb. The ADH confirming the pediatric measles case in an unvaccinated child from Saline County just this afternoon. Person who tested positive was exposed during out-of-state travel. As we mentioned, this is the only measles case in the state of Arkansas. It's the first one since 2018. No exposures have been identified in daycares or schools. Symptoms, of course, include fever, cough, runny nose, and that rash. We're also following breaking news. We're learning that the man suspected of a deadly double shooting in Fort Smith has been arrested within the last hour. Nefraz Ruach, who was considered armed and dangerous, has been arrested at a home in Fort Smith. Last night, police were called to the Foxfire Club on 10th Street, where they say Brian Jones and Todd Jewell were found shot outside. They later died at a local hospital. Police say Ruach attempted to run away from officers as they tried to arrest him. Right now, 5 News reporter Kayla Davis is in Fort Smith, and we'll have a live update on your 5 News at 5. We're also following breaking news out of New York. A helicopter crashed into the Hudson River this afternoon. This video from the scene in New York City in the river near Manhattan. Right now, we're learning 6 people have died from this crash. New York Fire Department says they have units on the scene performing a rescue operation right now. Multiple rescue boats were also seen on scene circling the aircraft. Right now, the cause of the crash is not clear. We'll, of course, continue to monitor this breaking news, bring you the latest as we continue to learn more.
What a beautiful day it has been. Current temperatures out there nice and comfortable. 70s Northwest Arkansas. How about some low 80s in the River Valley? It's going to be a really nice evening. If you don't have plans yet to get out and about, enjoy some nice fresh air, you ought to make some. It's going to be a really comfortable night. We'll notice those temperatures, though, dropping a little bit cooler overnight than they were this morning, down into the 40s by the time you're waking up tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's Friday. Boy, it's going to be a nice day as well. Down into the low 50s in the River Valley. We're not going to get as warm tomorrow afternoon, but it's still going to be a pretty decent day. Here's what I'm tracking for you. Not only is tomorrow going to be nice, slightly cooler, the weekend, goodness, it's shaping up to be fantastic. But what about those April showers? I do have an update on those coming up in your brand new 7-day forecast.
All right, Scott, thanks. President Trump says his administration is now going to work out trade deals with the countries which have approached him after he announced a sweeping tariffs package last week. As Erica Brown reports, this comes as his budget deal is now one step closer to becoming law.
Thank you very much.
President Trump says the 90-day pause on his reciprocal tariffs means more time for his administration to negotiate deals with trade partners.
The biggest problem they have is they don't have enough time in the day. Everybody wants to come and make a deal, and we're working with a lot of different countries, and it's all going to work out very well.
The president touted Wednesday's stock market surge after he announced the pause. But many of those gains were lost Thursday as investors grappled with tariffs as high as 145% on imported Chinese goods.
There'll be a transition cost and transition problems, but in the end, it's going to be a beautiful thing.
Thursday, a spokesman for China's Commerce Ministry said the door to talks is open and they hope to de-escalate the trade war. The president says his tariff policy is bringing in $2 billion a day in new revenue that can offset the tax cuts that are part of a budget deal working its way through Congress.
We call it the great big beautiful bill. It's a beauty. There's never been a bill like this one. We're trying to get it all into one beautiful bill. It's tax cuts, regulation cuts, and many other things. The border, a lot of money for the border.
The House voted 216 to 214 to adopt the budget blueprint after Republican leaders got support from conservative holdouts who wanted deeper spending cuts.
We made tremendous progress over the last 2 days in making certain that whatever we do on reconciliation, we don't increase this country's budget deficit.
The vote sets the guidelines for House and Senate negotiators to draft a budget bill implementing the president's agenda. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
A Los Angeles ballet dancer has been released from a Russian jail in a prisoner swap after being sentenced for 12 years behind bars for treason. Ksenia Karolina's lawyer has confirmed to CBS News she is now safe in U.S. care. Last August, she was sentenced to 12 years in a Russian prison, making a donation of about $50 to a U.S.-based charity that supports Ukraine. She was arrested last year while visiting her family in Russia. Today, she was freed through a prisoner swap in Abu Dhabi, according to the Wall Street Journal. U.S. freed a dual Russian-German citizen named Arthur Petrov. He's been arrested for allegedly exporting sensitive microelectronics. Today, Senate lawmakers held a hearing on whether the U.S. should continue to change the clock twice a year. Committee members pointed to research suggesting the biannual ritual has a major impact on the economy and public health, leading to higher rates of heart attacks, strokes, even car accidents. Daylight saving time begins in March when clocks are moved forward an hour, ends the first week in November when the clocks go back. President Trump expressed support for ending it in December. A Bentonville native is on a mission to shine a light on what's happening in his community. 5 News reporter Morgan Wrigley sat down with the founder of the Bentonville Bulletin to learn how he is working to keep residents in the know.
When you see a need and you have the ability to do something about it, I believe that you have an obligation to do something about it.
With his background in journalism and personal connection to Bentonville, Sam Hoisington saw a need he wanted to fill in his hometown.
Northwest Arkansas banded together and we started going by NWA, and we really have this regional focus in many ways. And I totally think that's smart and prudent. But the reality is that all of our core cities are growing so fast, and we are big enough to support independent news operations in each of these cities. And there are unique identities in each of these cities. You know, Bentonville is not Springdale. And I think it's absolutely time that we have a local news site in Bentonville for Bentonville.
It started as an email newsletter just 1 year ago, and today the Bentonville Bulletin has more than 10,000 subscribers. Since last April, Hoisington has published hundreds of stories on everything from community events to in-depth reporting on topics that truly matter to residents, which he says is the importance of local news.
When I talk to people about the importance of the work that we do, I ask them to list off the 3 things that are most important to them in life, and the 3 local issues that are most important to them in life, and they are never the things that they're clicking on. Your taxes matter a lot. Your water rate's doubling in Bentonville a couple weeks ago. That matters a lot. So I think it's about reorienting, our expectations to be focused on what matters the most.
But doing that work isn't without its challenges.
It also requires reader support. It requires community support. And I always tell people, if you give me $1 million, I'll give you the New York Times of local news. But until then, I'm working with what I got.
As the work continues, though, he says the future is bright.
In Bentonville, I can tell that people are interested in learning more about their community. So I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know that it's more reporters on the beat. I know that it is more stories being told. I know that it is more work to get readers involved.
In Bentonville, covering news where you live, Morgan Wrigley, 5 News.
By the way, you may see some of those stories right here on 5 News. We are proud partners with the Bentonville Bulletin. You can find out more about how to support them and subscribe to that free newsletter on our website at 5newsonline.com.